I think everyone's already seen that teaser where our characters are shown as part of a mafia led by the unhinged Jax. But as usual, sometime after the teaser, Glitch posted another so-called leak on Wacky Watch. And if before we were getting things similar to what we saw in the teaser, this time we got completely new information that could actually flip the whole plot of episode 5. They revealed that Pomni will experience the fate of a mafia traitor. I'm more than sure this will be insanely interesting to watch, especially considering Jax is shown as the mafia boss. So what could Pomni have done or said to trigger such a hunt for her? Could this be yet another hint about the exit? Maybe Pomni once again started trying to convince everyone the exit is real, and that's why Kane decided to punish her. There's also a theory that all these teasers actually belong to different episodes, and honestly, that makes a lot of sense. But there's one thing about all this that bothers me. Take a closer look at the Safari teaser, where Jax is clearly the main focus, and now this Mafia teaser also looks like it puts him front and center. That's where things don't quite add up, because Jax doesn't even have a dedicated episode, and episodes 5 and 6 are supposed to be evenly split between Jax and Ragatha. But what if that theory is true? In that case, I think the Mafia teaser is actually from episode 6, because the whole tone fits much better with the kind of escalation we'd expect. So let's talk about what might actually go down in episode 6, and why it could change the digital circus forever. Some info is literally screaming at us that episode 6 might bring the biggest drama in the entire history of the digital circus, and everything tied to it. Everyone perfectly understands how much influence Jax has on the other characters.
You, me, and Pomni will go check on Kaufmo, which leaves Crybaby and Hoo-Ha together to go handle the Zubul situation.
I want to see what your funny cartoon body does.
Hey, take it easy.
Oh, take it easy. That's you.
Hey, that's good of you, Pomni.
Let's take this dumb truck to the dumb kingdom, I guess.
Obviously, this kind of behavior is typical for a character with no moral boundaries. Now, let's recall the old leak that assigned each character to a specific episode. Episode 6 was originally considered Jax's episode, and even if we look back at Gooseworx's December update, where they mentioned that the original division was rather loose and episodes 5 and 6 would be split evenly, we still can't ignore that initial leak. No matter how you look at it, episode 6 is going to have a strong focus on Jax. Now let's go back to Tumblr. Goose straight up said in one of their posts that episode 5 would be the last of the so-called calm episodes. And if we think about everything that's happened in the previous episodes...
Everyone all right?
Can you repeat the question? I couldn't hear you over the knives.
Hey, Gangle, you should ram into him.
Where are we? Oh, that's...
And if, according to Gooseworx, this is just the calm before the storm, then things are already getting seriously terrifying. Yet, at the same time, insanely exciting. What exactly awaits us in episodes 6, 7, 8, and 9? For now, let's stick with this, and go back to the time when the deal with Netflix was signed. The audience generally reacted warmly to it, but some felt that bringing indie animation to streaming services was a betrayal of the genre. And right around that time, Goose made a post saying, "It sucks that YouTube censorship is so aggressive. If there are any moments in future TADC episodes that are censored on YouTube and not censored on Netflix, that's why." I guess that's another positive to the streaming deals and why they're worth pursuing in the first place. Still annoying though. And it almost feels like Gooseworx is hinting that we might see something truly on the edge in the future. Now we're getting to the most intense part, and I want you to view everything that follows through the lens of this post from Gooseworx. Over time, she has only strengthened her stance, making it clear that she won't be adjusting her vision to fit anyone else's expectations. I also remembered a Twitter post from almost a year ago that supports nearly everything we've just discussed. On one hand, it confirms that episode 6's script was written over a year ago, which makes the idea of Jax being the main focus even more logical. At the same time, it reinforces Goose's words about censorship. And if we're talking about a sex joke, I'm almost 1,000,000% sure that Jax will be the one to make it. He's never held back when it comes to his choice of words.
And Zubul turned straight.
My limbs straighten up. Fuck off.
Ooh, violence.
Wait, Pomni's not even here? Wasn't this whole thing for
Be
her?
quiet. I can't hear the escalator.
Wouldn't that more likely mean the exit does exist?
Could also mean you just have a jump start and losing your mind.
That's exactly why, after putting all the pieces together, I'm more than sure that episode 6 will come with some kind of drama. The only open question at this point is how it will happen. It's possible that a joke will be so, let's say, explosive that all of Twitter will latch onto it. And in that case, there will definitely be people who won't like it. As for the idea that a joke could violate YouTube's guidelines, leading to episode 6 being released exclusively on Netflix, I highly doubt it. I'd put the chances at around 0.5% at best. There's also a chance that a single wrong word could trigger a wave of backlash against Gooseworx. There are so many possible ways this could play out, and all we can really do is wait and speculate about what might actually happen. But something is bound to go down, and here's why. You might say that they wouldn't take such a risk for the sake of a joke, and I'd partly agree with you. We're not going to see the kind of garbage that pops up on content farm channels, but indie animation exists so that creators can express their thoughts and showcase their creativity in the way they want. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, so I'd love to read your comments. And of course, this won't be the only drama surrounding the amazing digital circus or Gooseworx. Let's take a look back at some of the most significant ones. And no, I won't be covering minor dramas, like the one with Animinus, because that situation was pretty straightforward. Instead, let's dive into some of the ones that are actually worth analyzing. Gooseworx first gained popularity in late 2019 after her Little Runmo project, and after the release of Digital Circus's pilot episode, the whole world was talking about this very talented animator. It all started with a post by a Twitter user with the nickname Terror Mask, who wrote, "So apparently this joke conversation from years ago is now being used by Digital Circus haters and spineless idiots from 4chan for the hate that started after the release of the TADC pilot. If you see someone bringing this up, don't take them seriously and report them." Also attached to the post was an image showing that in the distant 2021, a user wrote, "Back to your drilling fetish, I see," to which Gooseworx replied, "You can't prove it's a fetish," followed by an image of various characters enjoying having their heads drilled. I'm pretty sure Gooseworx hadn't even brought up this conversation, which objectively makes no sense, until recently. But in response to Terror Mask's post, Gooseworx said it was funny because it was. It's not surprising that such arguments appear on sites like 4chan, but what is surprising is that nowadays such trivial things like pictures get too much attention. Maybe it was, or still is, some kind of fetish, and what's the big deal? So I think this post is one of the most senseless judgments I've seen in years, except that in recent years, the tendency to post everything about oneself on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or other platforms has become more and more massive and open, and therefore something like this should not be taken too seriously. Like I said, it all started with a thread on 4chan, but then this movement started to gain popularity on other platforms as well. In the end, all this led to the fact that was organized a live broadcast GlitchX 2023, on which were gathered all the creators of projects, to which is directly related to the studio Glitch, on this broadcast in the main trained further plans and events. But at some point, some users began to spam massively unpleasant information. Fortunately, YouTube's automatic content detection worked perfectly and was able to fix most of the problems. But instead of improving the situation, it made it worse. Users became even more enthusiastic about sharing all this garbage on social networks and other platforms. As I said after 4chan, this whole process started on other platforms. And one example is this random meme about working out. I don't understand what the perpetrators are trying to achieve. Maybe they want to show how different they are from Gooseworx. Okay, if you don't like the amazing digital circus, that's perfectly normal. But I think it's better to spend your time doing something productive than sitting around trying to insult someone who has achieved great things. All this bullying and harassment just makes me feel Spanish shame. But Gooseworx acted very wisely in this situation by not responding to this harassment in any way and just pretending that nothing was going on. After all, if she started to respond to her abusers, it would only provoke them to harass Gooseworx even more. Unfortunately, this is the reality of the modern internet. There has also been some controversy over Gooseworx's very strange Gooseworx account, but don't be fooled into thinking it's something bigger than it is. It's just a private Gooseworx account that came under scrutiny after this whole situation. To be honest, I'm very upset by the behavior of some of the viewers. And since we're about to see a new episode of the Digital Circus, I'm afraid there will be more and more of these nasty posts.